Hey everybody, McFarlane here, coming to you again. How's everybody doing out there? Hope everybody's well on their end. Welcome to the first episode of Chronicles of the Web. Now, what is that actually? What is this? What is this segment that you're doing, you may ask? Chronicles of the Web basically is me just taking a trip down memory lane with my number one favorite hero, Spider-Man. So basically what you'll see here is me kind of reviewing or just giving my thoughts on various titles of his, basically. Just give us a trip, just show you my love for him. And so I'm always going to take a comic out of my collection and just talk about it, in a sense. Let's talk about it. So what was the comic that I took out my collection today for the first episode? Well, I would have went with Amazing Fantasies number 15. I do have that. Not in mint condition, but I do have the print of it. But I don't take that out too much. Now, I don't even keep it here, actually. I keep it somewhere else. But I decided to take out a number one, in a sense. And we're going back to 1990, actually. So let's take a trip, shall we? And we're going to talk about Spider-Man number 1. You could tell this is pretty old, but I do keep this bad boy in good condition. You can tell, look at the price. The price, $175. There was different covers for this issue, but I have it. I like this one the best. The Legend of the Arachnite. It's kind of interesting. This was the first part 1 of 5 of the Torment story arc, if you all remember, and written and drawn by Todd McFarlane. That cover I love. I've always said I enjoyed Todd McFarlane's artwork. I've always enjoyed his artwork. I've always enjoyed him when he drew Spider-Man, but not just Spider-Man, but when he drew certain villains in Spidey's Rogues Gallery. And I'm gonna show you some stuff in there. But this just took me back because I will always reread whatever I review, whatever I talk about on Chronicles of Web. So I reread this once again, and this was it just put a smile on my face and just showed me my love for Spider-Man. And Mr. McFarlane's depiction of Peter was pretty much exactly what you were looking for with Peter Parker. As always, it's always good to see him and MJ together. In this series, him and MJ are married. They live in Soho. They show their apartment and everything. Now, for all those who don't live in the New York area or in New York or never been like certain people, I know there are. Soho is an area in Manhattan, and pretty much Peter lives there. And one of the famous lines in there that was so funny to me is in this issue alone, it's straightforward. It's building up to what's to come in this issue, but in mostly it's just Peter doing his usual daily patrol, web slinging through the city, and he comes across a mugger, a thug, as he says, and trying to rob this woman. he comes down. Robert puts the gun right to his face, and and it's just so funny because Peter just takes the gun and bends it, like, it was really funny. And Peter really didn't lay a hand on him, but it was so funny because afterwards Peter is talking with MJ, and I love the lines. I'm gonna read it word for word. I don't want to butcher it, but basically he says to MJ, first of all, the opening spread is beautiful. That is a very, very lovely spread, very much indeed. And here is Peter. That once again he's fighting the mugger, the burglar. That the mugger who literally is just beating up this woman right here. Todd McFarlane did a good job of showcasing certain things, and basically here it is. The mugger puts the gun to Peter. Peter bends it, webs him up, and that was it. Now what's really funny is just here he is basically with MJ. As you can see, he's here with MJ, and he's talking to MJ, and then the funniest thing is he goes on to say, which is funny, he says, MJ, I just don't get it. These small-time crooks, they baffle me. I mean, are these guys such big concrete heads? I guess. Don't they realize I've been Spider-Man for a few years now? I've had hundreds, probably thousands of fights against Dr. Doom, the Hulk, the Goblins, Rhino, Red Skull, Venom, and it's basically Todd McFarlane goes on to say that MJ is just listening and listening and listening to Peter just go on and on and on, and basically he goes on to say, he says, heck, I even had one against Thanos, for God's sakes. It's so funny. And he says, but I'm just too logical. But if none of those guys could kill me, why did the punk tonight think he'd be one of them to kill me? That's dumb. Now tell me if I'm being ridiculous or not. But don't you think? And MJ just says, sweetheart, you can be cute and cuddly when you get philosophical. I thought that was funny, and it just showed, just showcasing MJ and Peter. I missed this. That's what I missed the most. But like I said, with Todd McFarlane's artwork, it was just really, really, really great to see, because one thing I've always applauded Todd McFarlane on about his artwork. Say what you want about later on when he started doing Spawn and everybody like that, but when he drew the lizard, my God, I've seen some great lizard artwork, artists from some great lizards. I mean, artists who drew the lizard really good, but when McFarlane drew the lizard, he made the lizard fierce and scary looking, to the point, like, you can see it right here. It's just like, oh my God. And in this issue alone, the lizard has seriously caused, he's killing people. He's just ripping people to shreds. This is the first issue where, and Spider-Man and he have not even encountered each other in this issue yet. But this was a good series. The Torment series was really good, and it just proves, it just took me back. You know, when you read this stuff again, it still holds up. It still holds up to this day, in my opinion. A good Spider-Man issue. I mean, no longer. I mean, the fun thing about it, like I said, when showing that big spread of Peter again, you know, Spidey doesn't have the webs under his arms anymore. I mean, I know there's some people that don't like that look for him. You know, it's okay, but it was just really fun to go back through this again. The writing was good. The dialogue between Peter and MJ are always good. When the fierce brutality of the Lizard is depicted so well in this, thanks to Todd McFarlane's artwork. You know, you really just like, oh my God, like you just sometimes you forget this. The Lizard could be this if he wanted to. So, this was a really fun issue. It just takes me back, as always. And this is what you're going to be getting from Chronicles of Web. You're going to get stuff like this from me, and just showcasing my love for the Webhead. For issue number 1, this was issue number 1 of Spider-Man, way back from 1990. I'm sure other people have this. If you don't, I do recommend it, especially if you're a Todd McFarlane fan and you want to get all his run. I definitely recommend it, because he drew I think he drew the first 16 issues of this particular series and wrote it too. And I could be wrong, but definitely I would advise to find them and add it to your collection. I know I have. But Spider-Man number 1, very good issue. It just takes me back. It was just a lot of fun to read once again. Just a lot of fun. Well, you know, I don't want to run off at the mouth too much, guys, but this was the first episode of Chronicles of the Web, where I just take trips down memory lane with old Webhead, various comics. You'll never know which comic it'll be. It'll always be a Spider-Man, in terms of it'll be either from Spider-Man, Peter Parker Spider-Man, Amazing, Spectacular, Sensational. As long as it's Spider-Man. Will I do any current stuff? No. That'll be saved for like comic views. But this is just to bring it back. Also be crossovers that starred Spider-Man as well. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys next time on Chronicles of the Web. And it's McFarlane Kid. Peace. One love. Stay tuned. Keep it real, guys, as always. See you guys later.